is JoJo. Give a Book, Give a Voice is a channel that helps young people learn new vocabulary and listen to interesting stories. I love books. I'm reading this today, Funny Kid for President by Stanton, Chapter 28. This chapter is pretty important. I wouldn't skip it if I were you. I'd like to start with a joke. I begin. There are two ducks in a pond. One says quack. One duck says quack. The other duck says, that's what I was going to say. There are a couple laughs. Not many. This is a tough crowd. I pause awkwardly. Silence. I told you that joke because in election speeches, everybody says the same thing. Things you heard before. It gets so repetitive. Quack, quack, quack. I wait again, hoping, but there's still nothing. I look over at Hugo. He's sweating more than normal. It looks like he walked through a garden sprinkler on the way to school. I keep going, trying to buy some time. This election has been a little different from the start. For a start, two of our candidates aren't even here. Kevin got sick from Mr. Armstrong's smoothie, and Mr. Armstrong's catapult nearly took off Ryan's head. And then there's a certain duck who always turns up at the wrong time. Except for when you really needed to. I glanced over at Abby. I was never expecting to get this far along in my speech. I looked down at my notes. And if I keep going, and I publicly accuse Mr. Armstrong of cheating in front of Miss Sniggles without any evidence, then not only I will probably get kicked out of school, but it'll also look like a really sore loser. I'm not sure which one is worse. Abby smiles encouragingly. And I suddenly wonder if she knew this whole time that the plan wouldn't work. I look back at Hugo. He's still sweating, but also nodding back at me. One of his really expressive nods that tells me, go for it, Max. It's now or never. You know what? Hugo's right. It's time to rise above the politics. It's time to tell the truth. I look up at my notes. Let's do this. Mr. Armstrong told me that he would make sure I did not win this election. That's why he tore down all my posters. Max, the teacher stands up. I keep going. And he lied about having the poop video. He helps Layla and sabotages everybody else. That's enough, Max, declares Mr. Armstrong. You're done. Mr. Armstrong is rigging this election. Enough! The principal and her toucan leap to their feet. Everybody freezes. No one quite expected such an explosive voice from such a little person. The toucan glares at me. That is a very serious accusation, Max. Do you have any evidence? I look at Hugo and Abby. I'm done for. I can't tell Miss Sniggles about the ballot box without telling her we broke in. The plan doesn't work unless she finds it herself. Max, who am I kidding? This plan was never going to work. I'm an idiot. I look out at the class. And I can see they agree. This is worse than when Mr. Armstrong first said I did the poop. What do you have to say for yourself, Max? I think it's time to come for a little walk to my office, Max. It is over. Quack. I look up. Did I just hear what I thought I just heard? Quack. Miss Sniggles looks confused. So does the rest of the class. Quack. It's the sound I've been desperately waiting for. Talk about cutting it close. What is that? The principal asks. It sounds like a duck. Everybody looks around, trying to figure out where the noise is coming from. It seems to be coming from your desk, Mr. Armstrong. Miss Sniggles steps forward, looking behind the desk, searching for the source of the quacks. Only Abby, Hugo, and I know exactly where the quacks are coming from. They're coming from where Hugo hid my duck before class. Quack. The principal presses her ear to Mr. Armstrong's third drawer. Quack, quack. She tries opening the door. Locked. Mr. Armstrong, why is this door locked? Give me the key. Now it's his turn to be speechless. The key, Mr. Armstrong, he stammers, struggling for words. He looks like Mr. Armstrong, he looks like he could use do with his stress ball right about now. There's nothing in there, Mrs. Sniggles, he manages finally. It's Max. He's quacking through his whole speech. He's learned to throw his voice. What do they call that kind of comedian? A ventriloquist? Yeah, that's it. Thinks he's really funny, this kid. Yeah, that one. The key. Now. Mr. Armstrong glares at me, then walks over to his trophy cabinet. He reaches up into his stinky shoe and pulls out the key. He glares at me some more before handing it over to the principal. Mrs. Sniggles unlocks the third drawer of the desk. She carefully pulls it open. In a wild flurry of feathers, the duck flies out, quacking happily. As the duck does merry laps of the room, I watch as the principal reaches down and opens the second ballot box. She slowly picks up all the pre-ticked ballot papers. Layla, Layla, Layla. Mr. Armstrong's eyes look suddenly very small. His face goes white as an albino fur seal dressed as a ghost for Halloween. The room falls silent. Everybody holds their breath. Actually, Max, you can stay right where you are, Mrs. Sniggles says eventually. Mr. Armstrong, you come with me.